What is going on, guys? It's awesome Pamaj here, and this is a different type of video. And if you guys have been following me on Twitter recently, you guys will know that I've been wanting to get a little more personal with you guys. So if you guys relate to me in some small way, then maybe it's good to relate to people, that's for sure, especially if they're difficult things or something like that. It's good to relate to those people because it helps relieve the tension. That's just something I've been noticing, and I know a lot of people get along with people that they can relate to, even if it's the bad things, or if it's like not exactly bad things, or just unfortunate things. But for the gameplay, if you guys like a lot of kills, this is 120 plus gameplay on Terminal. I die about only 20 times, but to the ratio, that's like 5 to 1 or some shit like that. But let's get into it. And I know a lot of people over the past 2 or 3 years of me doing YouTube, there's been so many questions regarding my dad, and I don't blame you guys. You guys are curious. I mean, I really haven't talked about him, and when I have, it's been subtle, especially on Twitter. It's been subtle and all that, and it's nothing really exaggerated. It's nothing crazy or something like that. But I'll tell you guys about him, because over the years I've grown a lot more comfortable with this type of stuff, and you know, it's just an everyday thing, I guess. You grow up and you just get more comfortable with these types of things, and I'm fine with that. So let's start it off with saying yes, my parents are divorced, and there's nothing wrong with that. Things happen to parents, and it's completely everyone. You should understand that everything happens for a reason, and I'm perfectly fine with that. It was a very difficult transition, that's for sure, because we didn't always live in the place I call Pallet Town. We lived on a really small reservation called pre-Pallet Town. Let's call that. That's where a lot of like a native community are, and that's where my dad really liked to be. This is my side of the story. He really liked to be there, and he wasn't really accustomed to the move to Pallet Town, which was a little difficult, and then things got really stressful here. It sucked. They brought us all upstairs, me and my brothers. My mom and my dad brought us all upstairs. They said that we're getting a divorce, and I just sort of stood there. I wasn't really sure what to think, because this all happened when I was in grade 7. I didn't know how to handle it. I was a kid. I wasn't really sure, what to do. Like, what does this mean? Do I have to travel every weekend to a place I really don't want to go? I just kind of want to stay here, with my friends, because in the end of it, if your family aren't there, then you have friends there, and that's something I really believed in. It was, I really wanted to be with my friends at that time, talk about it. I know a lot of my friends had divorced parents, and I just asked them, like, what do you do? And I was not really a fan of, traveling. I know a lot of people who have divorced parents, they travel like every other week, like 3 or 4 hours just to stay for a weekend or something like that. I wasn't really about that, but I do have to credit my dad. It was actually a planned Christmas. He was to buy me an Xbox, and I was going to buy myself a TV and PVR. So because of him, he sparked like that need to do YouTube, and I needed an Xbox. I couldn't just use Zach or Waddy's, and he bought me it, and he's a big reason why I'm here today, and I will acknowledge that. That's like, if he's watching this right now, I know a lot of my family share my videos here and there, so maybe this will be one of them. I still love you, Dad. Doesn't matter. Like, I'm not one of those people to hold a grudge, and whenever I see him in person, it's different. I've said this to multiple people over Twitter. He's there, but he's not really there, if that makes any sense at all. I don't see him every single day. I see him, if I were to be honest, I'd probably see him about 4 to 8 times a year, if that's anything. Like, that's pretty much how it is. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I've considered myself a pretty independent person. If I could say anything about not really having a fatherly figure or like a dad around as a child, because everyone knows, like, I always wonder that, like, I always say to myself, what if my dad was around and my parents didn't get divorced when I was a kid? Like, how different may I have been? How different could I have been to what I am today? Maybe I could have learned to become a man much faster, and I'm in no rush to become a man. I think I'll still be one of the most immature people, if you guys consider me that, on the planet. I think I won't ever become a man until like I'm 27 years old. I'm fine with that. I'm pretty passive on that. But I think to myself some days, like, I'll just, like, what if I had someone to teach me to be a man and all that? And You know, it's something you can only tell yourself, like a question, but you'll never actually get the answer. It's hard to envision it because it just won't happen to you. That's the thing. So I kind of take it as an opportunity. That's how I see it. I know a lot of people have said stuff about my dad, which they can say that. It's their opinions, whatever. I don't really go off other people's opinions. I just do what what I say. But my brother's relationship with our dad, it's pretty much the exact same as it's just explained it. He's there, but he's not there. If that makes any sense at all. We've all, you know, me and my brothers, we kind of swapped the dad relationship with each other. So we tell each other everything. You know, we're always there, like kind of what a dad does, I think. Anyway, this all happened in grade 7, so I don't know how old I was in grade 7. So maybe that was probably about 7 years ago. So I was probably like 12 or 13 or like 11 or something like that. It's hard. It's definitely hard if you guys had experienced your parents like separate. It's definitely difficult because if it happens really early in an age, then you don't exactly notice it. But when you're sort of like in like just about to become a teenager in school, you notice it. It's very, very different. If you guys know what I'm talking about, then you know that's great. I could easily talk about this stuff. It's really easy to talk about things that you can relate to. But I take this opportunity of not having a dad completely around the entire time. I take it as a chance to be my own man. I don't have an influence by anyone else. It's just how I want to be. Like I always try my best to see the opportunities out of things. That's kind of how I see it. And this is an opportunity, I tell myself, and I still believe it. I think it's a healthy decision, that's for sure. I will admit that as a kid, I did suppress a lot of emotions, that's for sure. Because like at some times I wasn't sure who to talk to, so I would just I would almost talk to myself. I would almost argue against myself in my head, and then just see what makes the most sense to me. I know that's not exactly a healthy thing to do, suppressing emotions. I definitely would not recommend that. It's definitely good to talk to people, even if it's not family. If you have a best friend of any sort, something like that, you know, it's good to tell. It is. And I know I do have trust issues. I can say that. I can honestly say that I do have trust issues, mainly because of a lot of things said about my dad, and a lot of trust issues that I've told people, and they go ahead and just tell people like it's nothing. Like I do have trust issues. So I know a lot of people in this world have trust issues, and I can definitely agree with that. It happens. You know, there's some scummy people out there that really don't understand privacy. But I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, you didn't have to tell us this, Austin," or something like that. You know, I'm fine with that. I want to get more personal with you guys. But after that, I would see him here and there. And you know, I see him like he was at my graduation. That was cool and all. I still pass by him. It was treated a little differently though. My dad was a very competitive person. If he's watching that, he knows he was a very competitive person. It kind of sucked because being the youngest kid, especially in baseball, he would actually bench me. He would either bench me or put me as back catcher, which I didn't really like that position. I got really fed up one day, and he sort of listened, and then it sort of, you know, went back to the way it was as back catcher. But you know, little stuff like that I began to notice. And then I don't want to tell these stories that didn't happen to me. I did hear multiple stories from my brother that my brother Waddy or Tyson experienced from my dad, because it kind of sucks. I wish this never happened. Now that I look back at it, my brother actually moved away to another school, and then my dad was there, so it was only him and my brother. And I don't want to get into this. If my brother ever wants to tell this story, I don't want to tell a story that he wouldn't want out. I respect that. But he told us one day we just went out to a family dinner. Me, Zach, and Waddy and my mom went out to a family dinner, and a lot of this stuff came out, and we were shocked. Like, we were straight up shocked. My brother Waddy would not lie. He doesn't lie like that. He doesn't cause pointless stuff like that. He's like me, or I'm like him, if you want to treat it that way. But you just hear things. You know, as a kid, you're shielded from a lot of things, because I will agree, it's a smart thing to do. However, mainly because they won't understand it. But you know, you eventually got to tell them someday. So we were shielded a lot of things that my dad actually did before. I don't really want to get into detail into those, but I just want to let you guys know my relationship with my dad. I don't really know where he lives. He sort of just like bounces around from places, and that's honestly about it. It's not like a criminal or type thing or anything like that. He was in jail, like a crazy like story, and there's the train. It's not like a crazy story or anything like that. It's kind of normal, but kind of not at the same time. If you guys relate to this, then you guys will know exactly what I mean when I say he's there, but he's not really there. But the best part I can take from this is I get to learn to become my own man. Since I didn't really, thank you, Train. Since I really didn't have a dad to stay around and tell me how to become a man, I get to teach myself and become the man I want to be. For if I ever have kids in my entire life, I can do it right, because it's kind of unfair to not have a dad around grade 7. But either way, now you guys know it's all on the table. Not exactly all the stories that are kind of irrelevant to it, but that's my relationship with my dad. That's where he is. He's there and he's not there, but I still love him to death. I can't hold a grudge like that. I'll still see him. But either way, I'm awesome, Pamaj, and I will see you guys later.